And you want to prove that sides BC and DC are equal. Well, right away, because those aren't part of a single triangle, and you're going to have to show congruence of triangles and then corresponding parts being congruent in order to identify those as being equal. So you need to show that two triangles in this figure are congruent to each other. And so right now, between the two triangles that you see, angles 4 and 5 match up and they're congruent. So there's one set of elements. So we need two more sets of elements to fit one of the patterns. And the pattern can include an angle. We have this angle 2. Is there any way we can relate angle 2 to another angle? Leah?
1 and 3 are equal to the BA.
Okay, so you have angles 1 and 3 set equal to each other because they're vertical angles. So vertical angles are equal. Now if we know that angles 3 and 1 are equal, angles 2 and 1 are equal, what does that tell us about angles 2 and 3? Okay. And that's based on the concept that if two things are equal to the same thing, they're equal to each other. What do we call that? Substitution or transitive. I believe online it's the substitution. I don't know that I put transitive property as an option. Okay, but it can be either of those. Online you'll never have to choose between the two. It'll always be one or the other, or it'll specifically say substitution or transitive property or substitution but not transitive property. So right now, if you're looking at the pieces, we have one set of angles that are equal from the given, one set of angles that are equal from step 3. So all we need is one other side. It can be the side included between these angles, or it can be a side that's opposite one of the angles. Do we have any relationships between sides of these two triangles? Daniela?
Well, if angle 4 and angle 5 are equal, then the side opposite to AB is the same as AC.
Be careful. Remember, that's only in the same triangle. Because otherwise that would be saying if I put this side right here, this side and this side would be equal because they're both opposite, angles 4 and 5. So that only works if you're dealing with the same triangle. But there is something that these have in common. They both have what side?
AC.
So you know that AC is equal to itself. Something is equal to itself is justified by what reason? Reflexive property. Okay, so we have this set of sides. So now, again, I wrote these letters on the side just to show you have your three elements. This doesn't say the order that they appear in. Okay, you have to go up and look at the figure for that. You have two angles in the side between those angles. So you can make the claim that these triangles are congruent. So triangle ABC is congruent to what triangle? What maps onto A? A. D maps onto B. C maps onto C. And what justifies this? What pattern? Two angles, the side in between, so A, S, A. And once you have congruence of triangles, what you can then do is identify all corresponding pieces are equal. So does BC and DC, do those two sides match up? Yeah, they're corresponding sides. So we can make the claim that part DC and part DC are equal by CPCTC. Or you could also use definition of congruence. So either of those would work fine.